Hi guys, welcome back to August Love Story. My name is Artika.
I'm Tommy.
And this week we are reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 12, Episode 6, and it's called Defending Your Wife. Before we get into this episode, if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. And let's get into these folks.
Let's do it.
All right, so I had a hard time taking notes this week.
Yeah, I did too. But
I'm gonna let you lead off with who do you have first? Since I had such a hard time. My notes are literally everywhere.
Yeah, mine are too. Let's start with Brianna and Champagne Vinny.
All right. We got to see Brianna and Champagne Vinny have their first disagreement. Yeah. Because there was not an argument.
Yeah.
It was just a disagreement. She felt that he doesn't pay her enough attention, and he felt like she was trying to rush him.
Right. And he ain't feeling that rushing.
He put his foot down.
It's like, nah, I ain't with this rushing thing, man. Don't rush me.
I don't think that there's anything that they can't get past. I think that when they went indoor skydiving, he did let us know that after the cameras were gone for the night, they had a discussion. And she said in her confessional or diary cam, whatever they call it on this show, that they had that discussion and that it really hurt her feelings, but she had to basically look within herself and look at why she felt that way. Yeah. Because she felt like he was calling her rude, and he was like, I'm not calling you rude, I'm just...
Right.
You rushing me and I don't want to be rushed.
Right. He really wasn't feeling that. I was going to say, I think they, the way that they handled their conversation, their discussion, I think it was good. Like I've been saying this whole season, man, they're having the right conversations. They're doing the right motion. And it's just 6 days in. Mm-hmm. So let's not forget that.
I feel like we jumped from day 2 to day 6.
I feel like it's day 60 for them. But
for who?
For Brianna and Vincent.
Oh, okay.
Just because of how mature. I thought you were talking
about all the couples.
No. Just because of how mature they are in the conversations that they're having.
Yeah. We still don't know everything that they're discussing, but I do we at least know that they're learning each other, and they've also had their first go through something tragic.
Right.
With his grandmother going into the hospital. So being on the side of him feeling like she can be there as a comforter and a supporter, and then, him also being able to, I don't want to say put his foot down, but basically being able to say, I don't like this. Could you stop doing it?
Right.
Because I thought he was going to be a big pushover.
Right.
But him being able to do that, I'm cool. Champagne Vinny's my guy.
Right. The name fits, man.
It does. Now every time I see him on the screen, I'm like, Champagne Vinny.
There it is.
I got it. All right. So who do you have?
Let's go with Clara and Ryan.
All right. First thing I wrote down was that she remembered that he likes to eat kind bars every morning. I was like, your life is repetitive. It's not hard to remember.
Yeah. I didn't see this part.
Oh, yeah. Tommy was...
cooking.
Yeah, doing something.
Fixing
I think you were making your plate.
No, I was fixing dinner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fixing dinner. They talked about their past relationships as well as her experience on dating apps. And I believe it was Clara, when we were in the first couple of episodes, who said that a guy tried to pay her to go on a date or to have sex with her friend. Yeah. So Claire has had bad dating experience.
That's a form of prostitution. I don't think that goes that way.
It doesn't. Basically,
Clara out here pimping Ken, man.
Pimping Kevin. If y'all have not watched Buried by the Bernards on Netflix, please do.
That's too funny.
What else did I put for them? I'm sorry, I'm trying to find it. She said that, when she was sitting down with all the other ladies, she said this was back when they were together. She said she's thrilled that their relationship is drama-free, but she is a little bit concerned that he has not said the L word to anybody, because she was like, I love everybody. And I was like, that's a problem.
Yeah, I think she just jumping the gun with that, just because, I mean, like, he may have not fallen in love, which is kind of like, you're like, really? You know what I'm saying? Everybody has loved somebody. And
but she was like, he's been in multiple year relationships with other women, and he's never told them that he loves them, which that is a little bit strange.
It is, but
but
it is what
I think sometimes also when we look back at our previous relationships in hindsight, we realize that it wasn't really love.
Yeah, that's true too.
Maybe he understands what love feels like.
Maybe he has
like he knows what his love is supposed to feel like, and he's like, that ain't it.
That ain't it. You ain't giving me what I feel.
So everything else that I wrote about them was pretty much after the big dinner blow up.
And we're gonna get to that.
Basically, I can just say, he told her she needs to watch what comes out of her mouth, and she did not like that.
And I wrote, Ryan is Mr. Mind My Business.
He is.
So... but I did write, she also felt like Ryan is controlling her a little with saying for her to control what she says and how she says it. And I understand where he's coming from with that, just because it's like, hey, it's okay for you to have your opinion,
but you don't have to
voice it every time. Or it's a way for you to say it to not cause a whole fight between people, because I mean, like, essentially that's what happened on this episode.
But like, we get that in our relationship. Like, sometimes you just look at me like, we're not doing this today.
Right.
And it's not that I'm like going off on the deep end about something, but it's just like, we're not about to get into that conversation with this person, so let's just dead it and be done with it. So I mean, I get Ryan in that regard. Like, let's stay out of it. It ain't our business.
Right.
Nobody asked us, so we're not going to volunteer anything.
Right.
But to Clara's defense, I do feel like that entire conversation was very much so production led.
Yeah. Because
where was Paige? Where was Erik? Like, what were the other sides of these couples doing during that activity?
Watching. We talk about it at the ATV, which we're going to get to.
Yeah, we'll do all the group stuff.
Yeah,
together.
At the end.
But it's like, where were they? So, I mean, it looks production set up.
Right.
There's no other reason for them to not be with their spouse having this conversation with this man. Right. Just those two.
What else we got? That's all you got for Clara and Ryan? Mm-hmm. All right, so we got Haley and Jacob.
Haley and Jacob had the sex.
They had the sex. Oh, Clara and Ryan also had
allegedly. Because she didn't say they had sex. She just said things got physical.
So because
Ryan was like, keep them out of our business.
Right. Don't tell nobody. Like she ugly or something. Don't tell nobody.
Well, I don't think he was saying it like that.
I know. You know how people be like, all right, we're going to keep this. Don't tell nobody.
Yeah. But it's kind of like the conversation with, like, how we were talking about a few episodes ago. It's like, your parents know that we've had sex, but I'm not having that conversation with them. Right. Same for us.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not going to be like, hey, we did it yesterday. It's going to literally be like all right, whatever.
Nah, so Haley and Jacob, they did it. Mm-hmm. And Haley didn't like it. I have to believe that she did not enjoy herself while they had it.
I wonder if she felt like this was like a stellar performance.
I don't know. I can't say if it's true or not, but from the way things look, I don't think
I didn't think that they were going to have sex. So
within the first 6 days. I thought eventually
the whole experience.
I figured they would, you know.
I wouldn't expect
just me being optimistic about the whole thing. But she said at the beginning of the episode that she's starting to like him. Mm-hmm. By the end of the episode, we kind of feel like she doesn't like him at all still.
Yeah, she was talking in her confessional, and I want to say she said this with the girls as well. was that she's gonna have a hard time with not being able to be alone.
Yeah.
And I fully get that. Like I still struggle with that 7 years in. Like what?
Been here that long?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, maybe it's more than 7 years. Anyway. It is 7 years. It's almost 8 actually.
Go for it.
I do struggle with that as well because I grew up, even though I have siblings, I was the only child at home for a while. So I grew up like an only child, and then I lived alone, and then we moved in together. So it was a lot for me. So I can see it being a lot for Haley, who was alone and by herself a lot longer than I was. So it makes sense.
It's definitely an adjustment for her, just like how it was for you, honestly. But with Jacob is starting to feel a certain type of way because he's wanting to get more from Haley. But she's not letting him in. He feels like she got her guard up, and he's wanting to know, well, what can I do? What can we say? What can I talk about? And, to get some type of PDA. Can we hold hands? He asked her, and stuff like that. He's wanting to do these things.
And I didn't peg him as that type of guy that wanted to be touchy-feely.
Right. I wouldn't peg him that type of guy either, just because of his conversation. And for me, Jacob's struggles are within his conversation. Because it's like, are you not paying attention to what she's saying?
Yeah. Or
you just hearing words and then you're coming back with the same thing? Because a normal conversation would be, you say something to me and I'm going to respond to what you just said. Not you say something to me and I'm going to go back to what I just said.
Yeah. And again, is it editing or is this really him being bad at conversations? I'm hoping that it's...
You hope that it's editing, but I feel like
it's bad at conversations. I don't know what I expected for their relationship. I felt like he was too far one way and she was too far the other, and they were going to have a hard time meeting at the middle ground. Whatever he did to get her loosened up for sex, I know they said they were drinking.
He got her drunk.
Well, I don't want to say it like he got her drunk.
They were drinking.
No, but it had to be something else. His conversation and energy had to have something else, because you could get drunk and just go to sleep beside a person.
I don't know.
Whatever it was that made her loosen up to go the sex route with him, he needs to do more of that. Yeah. Whatever that is. Yeah. Because I think that is what's going to help them out.
I think also, in the conversations that they were having, I feel like a lot of times he was just being real insecure because she wasn't really giving him a lot to, in responses to what he was saying. And she even said later on, in the night before they was getting ready to go, that their conversation hits a wall, and for her it's a lot. It's for her going from being single to married. She was trying to get used to that, and now she's hit a wall and trying to I guess work through that wall. And her parents told him, hey, take a step back and give her time. Give her space.
Yeah, he's not taking that.
And he's not doing that.
Yeah.
I learned the hard way.
I wrote down. Oh, I said that he's reaching and she's pulling back. And she feels that the relationship isn't progressing. And then at the very ending, he did give his feelings that he was sad that she didn't want him around for a group gathering. Yeah. She lied to him. And I think that's one of those things that Haley has to be truthful. I just don't want to do this right now. And sometimes that's okay. I mean, I know it's hard to say do it at 6 days in. Right. But at how many days in we are, I can literally just say, I don't want to do this right now. And we just have to not do it right now. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know how that makes you feel. I've never asked. Yeah. But sometimes you have to just do it for yourself and just I'm gonna walk away from this, and when I come back, I promise I'm gonna have a better attitude.
Yeah, that's all you can hope for. That's all you can do is like.
And if I don't come back with a better attitude, I'm gonna tell you my attitude's still bad, so I'll be back. Or just don't talk to me right now. You're laughing because this is true.
I'm laughing because of my response to it now. Like at first it like bothered me, but now it's like I don't gotta deal with your attitude. You going on somewhere, man.
Yeah, it's like now that you understand, hey, her attitude will get better when she comes back. Right. You just like, go ahead. Yeah. Do you?
I just be like, get away from me, man. It's too funny, man.
Who we got, Will?
Who we got next? Let's go with Virginia and Erik.
Erik was drunk
the whole time.
Erik was I can't hold my head up drunk in at least like 2 scenes.
Look, it was so bad for him. He got tired of being drunk. That was that conversation with him and Virginia in the room. He was like, basically, look, I can't do this all the time.
He did literally say that. Like, I cannot do this.
I can't do this all the time, man. But no.
That's the second thing I wrote down. Erik is drunk. He has told Virginia he won't be drinking like this.
Yeah.
Erik just has to resolve that just because your wife is drinking does not mean that you have to drink.
Right.
Literally, like, it's funny because I have on the shirt. Tommy enjoys Jack Daniels. I will drink Jack Daniels, but I am not a connoisseur of it like you are. Yeah. Like, not to say that you get drunk or anything, but like you enjoy Jack Daniels.
Right.
I don't have to drink every time he says, hey, I'm about to pour me up a glass of Jack Daniels. So it's okay to just be like, that's your thing.
Right. No,
it's cool. Kind of like video games. That's your thing.
Right.
Every so often I'll jump in and play with you.
No, you won't.
I used to.
You don't now. Let's be truthful.
Okay, I don't now, but I did used to.
Yeah.
And that's just one of those things. Like,
let's say you have before.
I used to kick your butt.
Anyway,
in Connect Sports.
Anyway, Erik, like, it's like pleading with her. Like, I think Erik is trying to convince her that, you know, he doesn't want her to. He wants her to respect the fact that they're married, and some things in her life are going to have to change. And I think we all know that when it's coming into being married, but I don't think everything has to change right here, right now, when we get back. You know, and I feel like Virginia is fighting him for that. Like, hey, I like to go out. I like to drink with my friends. I'm going to have male friends because we've been friends forever. Like, I'm not going to stop being friends with these guys. And Erik's like, well, I don't, you know, just don't go out here and have the sex with these guys. And, you know, this is
funny to call it the sex.
Yeah, I guess. Having sex with these guys and then, you know, like disrespecting our marriage because we are married.
Mm-hmm.
I understand where he's coming from, but he also has to let the marriage develop and the friendships develop as well.
I think she may have been too honest with him about like her past drinking life, because remember when she was sitting down with the girls, she said I was promiscuous.
Yeah.
While drinking, and I think that that's in the back of his mind that my wife gonna go out here and cheat on me because she got drunk,
right? So
I'm gonna go drink with her,
yeah.
And that's not how it has to be.
No, she definitely, you know, it's a two-way street or two-edged sword with that. Just because that information is pertinent, but I don't think it's pertinent.
But I don't think a lot of people are out here telling their husband, hey, I used to get drunk and have sex with other guys.
Right. Like,
it doesn't change that they're married.
Right. It doesn't change that. But I still think that, you know, they have to work through the changes that have to happen in their personal life once they come together. Because now they're on a high, you know, just married. We're on our honeymoon and stuff like that. So, yeah, of course, they talk about the things that they want, but reality has to set in for them as well. What else you got?
I got nothing else for them. Just the advice of Erik. You don't have to drink with Paige.
Right. Erik was thrown this whole the whole first half was
he was just like this at the table.
Like when they was at the casino.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. He was just like, man.
And you could hear the slurs in his speech.
Right.
He truly got what did Vinny say? He got chocolate wasted.
Oh man. Alright, so Paige and Chris are last.
I'm trying not to exert too much energy on them. But what I will say, there was a moment, and we'll get into that moment, but there was a moment that Artika could not have been in with Chris.
Oh, no, I couldn't have been there either. But
Chris could not have yelled at me the way that he yelled at them on that bus.
Yeah. I'm gonna go.
I had to speak about myself in third person.
At the beginning, like when the girls were around, like I guess they was having their. I don't know what they were doing.
They did a bartending class. Okay. Like they made drinks.
Yeah, so they did their bartending class and went down to go sit and talk with each other
and have their drinks.
Paige looked so out of it, and she looked miserable sitting there listening to everybody talk about the good and the bad between their relationship, and because everybody knows what's going on with her and the decisions that she has to make. This episode, she just looks extremely sad throughout the whole thing. You know,
she looked sad unless she was talking to Chris, which was very, very bothersome for me.
Yeah. Like their whole relationship is bothersome.
I mean, that too, but like the only time that I thought that she was actually enjoying anything was when they were actually making the drinks. Like she looked to be into that.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah, but that's literally the only time that I thought that she was into it. So everybody was pretty much talking about how their relationships are going. She was very visibly quiet when they asked had anybody had sex. I don't think anybody admitted to having sex.
Jacob and Haley.
No, I'm saying to the group.
Haley did.
Oh, Haley did tell the group?
I thought that, well, I don't know.
I thought Haley told them in the confessional.
She told us, so
yeah.
I don't know. Feel like we're part of the group.
And then we jumped to the guys.
Yeah. They
were taking a lesson in craps.
Yeah.
Which I would need a lesson in craps because I don't know anything about gambling if it's not a slot machine. Like,
yeah.
I'm too weird about losing money to gamble for real.
And then when the guys had sat down to talk, Chris was quiet until, you know, he asked a few questions and stuff like that. But Erik said something to Chris, telling him, drunk Erik, telling him he got to step up and be a man. And Chris took offense to that, which I would have taken offense to that because, like, what are you talking about? When somebody says you got to step up to be a man, it's like, I am doing that. Like, you know, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I think that, like I said last week, Erik can't read a room.
No.
And Erik is very firm in his beliefs.
Right.
And I believe that his belief is that you cannot have a family over here and a wife over here without something lacking.
Yeah.
And so, which Virginia got into that with saying that he was ultra conservative. But I believe that he feels that Chris can't like basically retain both households, or not necessarily both households, but deal with both sets of people the way that he should, because he's married to one person but having a baby with someone else. And I think that he's not been able to get his point across yet.
Yeah.
Like Erik.
Yeah.
Like he wants to say you need to do this, and so he's gonna keep hammering it in because he's like, you're not listening to what I'm saying. So I'm gonna tell you again. And then also it doesn't help that he's been drinking both times he's attempted to have this conversation.
Way more than he usually drinks.
Right. Allegedly.
So it's a lot of stuff happened in between, but we're gonna wait until after we talk about Paige and Chris specifically. Mm-hmm. So they were in the room eating dinner. I'm assuming it was dinner. And they would start talking about Paige's dog. I don't remember the name.
I think it was
Cookie. And like Chris was like, basically, I'll play with it. Mm-hmm. But that's about all I'm gonna do.
And she was like, the dog sleeps with me and all these other things. And I mean,
they talked about finances, like
he doesn't believe in a joint account. Yeah. She does. He has told her that she makes a quarter of what he makes, and I just can't imagine that he makes that much money. Just from the things that we've seen out in the world about his business.
Well, I just don't feel like it matters.
No, it doesn't.
Like at this point, no, I don't think they should get a joint account. And I think with Paige, she's going through these are the things that we should talk about. Paige, you need to get out of this thing.
Well, okay. So we have to look at it from the veil of, I'm going to try to make this marriage work.
And I'm trying my best too, but it's tough. So like this man, like she said, I made a third. He corrects it a fourth. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't matter, man.
I mean,
and you want to split the bills in half. Like, well, wait a second. That's a discussion that we need to have.
Right. You don't get to come in and be the executive decision on how the finances are run without a conversation, but then tell me I gotta foot the bill for wherever you want to live.
Right. No.
Because we did find out that he was about to close on the house, but she has a house.
She has a house.
So what do we do here?
Right. No, I'm with you on that.
So it's very important to have these conversations, and I think that a lot of the couples haven't had those conversations yet. Some have, some haven't. Like Clara told Ryan that they would just move into his place because he owns his house. That was a very easy conversation to have. Paige and Chris's is a lot more convoluted because it's like, you don't own your house yet.
Chris has somebody else pregnant, so everything's convoluted.
There's a lot of things. Like it's so hard to take the baby out of the equation. But even if you take the baby out of the equation, we were on a path to living totally separate lives, and now we're not. So what are we gonna do?
Right. What else? She thinks that he's one-minded. I'm in total agreement with you. He is one-minded. The conversation that they had at the end, like when they were getting ready to go to leave and they was packing their stuff, was about him talking to his ex. And she asked, I don't forgot the question per se, but basically it's like he was thinking about getting back with his ex.
And he said that they talked about it.
They've talked about getting back together, and he still loves her.
And he said to Paige that Paige was like, this is the first I'm hearing about it. He was like, you haven't talked to me about this at all since we found out. And she was like, basically, I was scared to talk to you about it. Like, I've seen how you've acted with everybody else.
Right.
So it's not an easy conversation to have, which I fully get, which also makes me feel like she's not trying to stick around, which I wouldn't. I'm like we discussed in the live, she's there for the check.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be trying to, if I was going to stay with you through a baby, we need to have conversations and we need to set up parameters. Baby appointments, what do those look like? Because I'm going too.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what it is. Because he didn't cheat on her to make this baby.
Right.
So I don't have the guilt of being a woman that has been cheated on.
Right.
But I know that you have feelings for this woman, and I don't want y'all going to get warm and fuzzy. I'm sitting there too. Like, what we doing? We need to know how holidays are going to go, because even if it's a newborn baby, it's still half your baby and y'all aren't spending holidays together.
Right.
These are conversations that you need to have. And if you're going to hit me with a baby on day 4, I can hit you with all my conversations on day 4. it is what it is. So that's what makes me feel like she's not planning to stay engaged in this situation.
Yeah.
She's just doing what she got to do to make it through the 8 weeks. She comes out on the other side looking like the golden child. Although I don't really believe that either, because she keeps having sex with him. So I just feel like maybe she just want to look dumb. I don't know.
All I can say is please don't be pregnant by the end of this, this
then guy. Everybody, they can be ghetto twins.
Anyway.
Ain't that what they call them? I can't say anything because my brother and I are 2 weeks apart. So whatever.
But yeah, the last thing I have written for them two as a couple is why, Paige? Why?
The last thing I wrote that he said that he was spiritually attracted to her, and I was like, how stupid and gullible can you be? Because we just had this big dumb blow up about you saying you want to get back with this girl, and you're like, hey, I'm spiritually attracted to you. What does that mean?
I don't know. I honestly don't know, man. He's a character, man. That's all I got to say about that. He is truly a character. So,
only thing left we didn't talk about was the ATVs.
The ATVs and the big dinner. Mm-hmm. So, the group, Jacob, Haley, no, not Jacob and Haley, Erik and Virginia,
Clara and
Ryan, Chris and Paige went to ride ATVs. Mm-hmm. They enjoyed it, went through their journey or whatnot. But at the end, Clara, Virginia, and Chris sat down and talked with each other. Mm-hmm. This conversation went completely sideways when Chris brought up the fact that he doesn't like the fake caring that they're doing towards Paige. But for me, he was basically saying he doesn't like that people are caring, doesn't care about his feelings.
They're only looking out for Paige.
Right.
And Paige is the only person in this situation that I would care about. I mean, the baby, because the baby didn't ask to be.
Right. And that's the truth.
And maybe even the baby's mama, because she didn't know she was getting into this dumb stuff.
Yeah. Well, she had to have known.
No. That he was going to be getting married?
Yeah, no.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean, this dumb stuff.
She knew who she was dealing with.
Oh, yeah, she absolutely knew who she was dealing with, but this side of the dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Essentially, long story short, he blows up at Virginia.
Calls Virginia a drunk.
Yeah. He blows up at Virginia and Clara. Erik steps in. He blows up at Erik, and then he waits until they're in a confined space of the van to pull a Brandon and starts yelling at people.
Right.
And that's where he would have had me messed up.
Yeah, I would have had to tell the driver, you need to pull this thing over.
He wouldn't have had to pull over, because I would have said directly to his face, you want to make TV? Let's make TV.
No, man, I just
claps and all.
Right. I just feel like when that conversation was being had between Virginia and Clara, Chris should have been able to hold himself and control his feelings and say, hey, I'm done with the conversation, and walk away. Mm-hmm. So whenever they finished the conversations, the girls, Clara started crying, mm-hmm. which, she looks like she's a crier.
I'm a crier.
Clara started crying,
I'm an angry
and
crier.
They all went over to talk with Clara and Virginia, went over to talk to Paige on a little deck. Mm-hmm. And they said, hey, we got your back. You're not in this alone. If you need anything, let us know. Chris comes over
and tells them that those are not her friends.
Right. And he was completely out of line, I think, at that point. And I feel like at that point, if it was me and he was talking to my wife, we'd have had some issues, because you said your piece. They came over here and talked to her. Hey, and like at that point, it's like, talk to me and you. Me and you talk. Mm-hmm. So we fast forward to the big dinner. Chris makes it to the table. Everybody's saying, hey, mm-hmm. and all this and all that. And Chris apologizes. Well, first off, Paige says something. I toned out. Like, it was like, Paige, what are you talking about? Then Chris says...
she said it wasn't supposed to go that way.
Yeah.
Chris apologizes to Clara and to Ryan because he's like, I yelled at your wife. I'm apologizing to your wife, and then I'm apologizing to you for yelling at your wife. Yeah. They had their piece. They basically agreed to just step away from that conversation about the baby, and no harm, no foul is how they're putting it. I know that Clara still has some built up tension about it, but that's one of those agree to disagree. We don't have to talk about it again because that's your life. You're screwing up. I don't have to be a part.
Right.
But then in waltzes Virginia and Erik, drunk.
Yeah. Late.
And had been drinking. And then Virginia was like, let's take a shot. Drinking? I think they had been drinking. I think Virginia had been drinking. Maybe not Erik, but Virginia had been drinking. And then Virginia requested a shot and offered Paige one.
Right. I think that what was the messed up thing.
The straw that broke the camel's back. Literally in that whole ordeal, Erik tries to chime back in and say his piece, and people were like, I was looking online while we were watching, and I seen some people say that they agree with Chris being upset, and I can understand why Chris was upset in that moment, but I also think that Erik's tardiness to the party is part of the issue. Yeah. Because just like the last time they came in late, everybody had gotten all resolved in their issues and they were done talking about the baby, at least as a group. Because I know they all went back to their rooms to talk about it.
Of course.
But him coming in late and wanting to rehash this after Chris just apologized to Clara and Ryan about everything brings everything back up. Basically brings the pot to a boil and it boils over.
Yeah, Chris was like, what do you want to do, bro?
We literally end this with Champagne Vinny pushing Chris out. Brianna's like, come on, Paige, we finna go downstairs. I'm trying to figure out why was there so much walking, because it's like, how long does it take to get out of here?
They at least had to walk a mile.
But I guess just all in all, I really hope that Erik and Virginia just don't say anything else to Chris.
Right.
We saw that Virginia was on Unfiltered with Paige, so there's still a relationship there and they're still cool. Not that I thought they wouldn't be. And Vinny just come out as the MVP. Like
Champagne Vinny.
So I guess my question is, where do you guys see this going with Chris and Paige?
I just hope it goes away.
Because
I hope Paige just walks away.
Did she say that God put them together again this episode?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, I'm tired of talking about God doing stuff that I don't think he did. If you did it, God, just tell me. I'll help convey it to the people because I think I would do a better job than Paige would.
Yeah, I don't know,
but I don't think that that's what he did. I ain't gonna put that on him.
I feel like, Chris blowing up, Erik jumping in his business too much, Virginia jumping in his business too much. The man said he didn't want to talk about it. They should have left it at that.
It's hard to be on a reality show and not talk about it.
It's tough to be, right. It doesn't make sense to me that you don't want to talk about a big situation like that. But I understand if you was a private citizen.
But you're not.
You're on a reality TV show. So I honestly think Chris's situation takes away
from the other couples
as well as the actual TV show.
So let's focus on the other couple.
We already did.
No, I'm saying let's focus on what we would like to, what advice or what we could see happening.
It's hard.
I think that Haley and Jacob needs to learn how to communicate better.
For sure. I
think that is probably going to come with a conversation from more so Dr. Viviana or Pastor Cal than Dr. Pepper. Yeah. I think Dr. Viviana is really good at devising a plan of how to help you communicate things better. She did great with what's her name last season? Karen. Clara and Ryan, I think Clara's just gonna have to get over the fact that Ryan don't say that he loves people, and Ryan just needs to figure out what love is and what that means to him so that he can figure out when he's supposed to say it.
No, I'm with you.
I'm trying to think of who else. Virginia and Erik. Erik just needs to stop drinking with Virginia.
Brianna and Champagne Vinny.
Brianna's gonna have to take better time at not reacting when he says how he feels, and then like basically what you call tabling it and then coming back to it. Like, because I think that it's much easier to think through, why are my feelings hurt and how can I change it if you're on the other side of it. Let us know what y'all think. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel, turn on the notification bell, comment down below what you think about all the couples. I'm tired of it being the Chris and Paige show, so I'm just trying to talk about somebody else. Just tell me something good that happened in your life this week. If you don't have anything to say about anybody that's not Chris and Paige. That's all you got? Yeah, that's it for me, man. All right, y'all. Bye.
Peace.